My sweeties, welcome back to Dr. Slim. It's a Bella Italia. Today there is Mellanzane alla parmaggiano. That means a eggplant lasagna. I learned very early on how to prepare it from a real Italian, and I only say felicità. When I see you, I want to eat you, felicità. And when you come out deliciously out of the oven, felicità. I'm happy that I can eat her, su, felicità. Fun must be. So my pretty ones, we need naturally for our eggplant lasagna, eggplants. And let's say 700 to 800 grams for medium shape form. And what else do we need for the tomato sauce? You already know that from my other video, zucchini alla bolognese. We need peeled tomatoes and our chopped about 400 grams. Then we take a little onion. We take the famous oregano blossoms or normal oregano. We have fresh oregano with a bit of celery here to spice it up. Then we absolutely do need uovo di Parma with spice vegetables. We put in a carrot, some red wine, and that's our tomato sauce. For the aubergine, for the eggplant, we need 3 or 4 eggs. Now I've got for the breading some almond flour. Then I've got the light mozzarella, some parmesan, and some olive oil. And we make some small bechamel sauce with it. We make it from almond milk. It only has 1.4 carbohydrates per 100 gram. No sugar in it. Then we use maize. In this case, we take 40 grams of flour, but with any other carbohydrates. But you also can use some potato things. My lovely low carb sweeties, this is a short or more or less short recipe. We cut the eggplants into 1 centimeter long slices, add salt, that the water comes out, squeeze them, and then we bread them, but without breadcrumbs, only with almond flour and egg, and fry them and remove the fat. In the meantime, we make a delicious tomato sauce. And when the whole thing is in the oven, we'll make a bechamel sauce, and then we'll give it a la minute over it. Ooh, at the end it's going to be a party. We cut off the top of the eggplants a bit. Only a little bit. Here. Very easily, and then we cut off a bit here so that you have a straight area on the right and left. Then you can now either use my famous TNF 3000 slicer, then you make really evenly slices, or you take a big kitchen knife. I show you both. The machine is a bit more precise, but it's not about 100% accuracy. In the end, the whole thing tastes like fine veal slices in a lasagna. You'll be thrilled, like Michael Jackson would say. It would be your favorite food forever, and it's low carb. So here we go. We cut about 1 centimeter thick slices here, so it looks a little bit thick and imprecise. So we try it on the machine on the highest setting, and we just go over here, and you see the perfect slice comes out of it. I can do it by hand that well, although I'm actually practiced. Or you take a bread slicer, whatever you have by hand. That goes really fast. There's our hill, there's our mountain of eggplants. I make 2 shapes because I've become visitors. I've shown you the right quantities for 1 little mold. This is like 23 by 23 centimeters in square. I have a square, and you can use, of course, any other. What we do, we lay out the eggplants. I'll do it here on the cloth. We call it torchon. And we salt it vigorously on both sides and let it sit until 10 minutes, until some water has formed, what will leak out, and that's how we want it to be. Otherwise it will be like leather. So you have to take this step into account, really. Otherwise, put generously with the salt, not tons, but I'll show you. You can see it maybe. Look, you can see a bit of salt there on it, because we will wrestle that again and wring it, and so by no means it will be too salty. Once salted, and please turn the whole thing over. It goes round, that goes in quick succession. The eggplant soak still, let the water. We make a delicious tomato sauce for that. I have an onion. You can easily cut it with a TNS 3000 into little cubes that I showed you, or you do it by hand. I just prepared something here, and we do the same with the carrot here. Yeah, I've got this vegetable slicer, but you also can take another one, and you just go over with the carrot, and we want little tiny pieces. This is very good, suitable for a wonderful light low carb carrot salad. The shape is gigantic, and you can't get it by hand. Our tomato sauce. For that we need some olive oil, only a little bit. Don't put too much in it. And stew the onions and the carrots. Now the tomato sauce, it's simmering. That's how we love it. At that point, you can add the tomato paste right away. I've got around 80 or 100 grams. I always do it thumbs up. You already know me, but I link for you more precise recipes and quantities. We go a bit higher with the temperature here because we want some achieve some roast aromas, and then we extinguish it with wine. Or if you don't like wine, take water. Drink the wine, don't put it into the dish. So, you see that immediately dissolves from the bottom. That's how it should be. With this lovely wooden spoon. I add a little bit oregano, salt, a little bit only, and a good amount of fresh grounded black pepper. You also can use white. Stir it a little bit, then we add the whole cans of tomatoes to it. Don't be shy, put them in. These are peeled tomatoes. You also can use cut it, but don't use the mixed one. No. And I always like to clean it out a little bit with water because there's still a little bit of tomatoes inside and we need them. We are Swabian. So, this is pure Italy in your pot. And we let the whole thing simmer for about half an hour. Or even longer. The tomato sauce is simmering, the eggplants are still steeping. We built our little breading line to do this. We take the 4 eggs and some almond flour and give them to the bowls, and we'll be able to soak afterwards and bake in the hot fat. Crush the eggs and just smash them. One thing, you also can use the mixture of gluten, lupine and almond flour mixture. Might be even better than the pure almond. I link it to you. You don't have to salt it here because the eggplants have enough. Lasciatemi cantare, the tomato sauce bubbles. Our eggplants are so far steeped. And now I'll show you my little secret. You'll see there's a lot of liquid has already formed up here. You take them and press them out, as you see, and there few drops coming out, and when we unfold them again, then we have the best consistency. Okay, here, wring them out, unfold it, wring and unfolding. That you do now with all of them, and then we bread them and fry them in oil. We take the fat off, of course, afterwards, with by immediately putting it on kitchen paper towels, so that we actually stay low fat as well. It's only necessary, otherwise it all hangs in the pan. And please use a good pan, a good coated one. I swear on WMF, good it's here, and there's a factory outlet nearby. You can get things cheaper, that's probably the main reason. But the quality is 100%. Don't make everything so accurate when cooking. I'm cooking and talking and working, but the result counts. My sweeties, I've already turned on the oven and heated up the pan on quite high temperature. I also have some oil with butter aroma, with butter flavor, so that it can also fry well. You need a lot of oil, I told you. Now we still need forks, and I'm now going to almost the maximum level on my induction cooker, which is like breading but without breadcrumbs, so we save ourselves that. So with Italian recipe it shouldn't even be intended that they be breaded, just get a nice egg coating. Let's see how the whole thing works. So put it into the egg, let it drain here as well as possible, and into the pan. So first into our flour, that's the great temperature. First the flour, then into the egg mixture. It shouldn't be too hot, so we burn the egg. And the next one in. Look, they just swim on the surface and they don't stick to the pan. So we coat it a little bit, now into the end, but please do it with forks so your hands stay really clean. All in it goes, and there they bubble. And the first one we can already turn around. You can see the beautiful layers that are building up. Look, oh, a little bit golden brown. That's how we like it. Could be a little bit sharper, well, camera issues. You see, if it looks like this, then I take it out. That's only 2 minutes. Really fast. And through my crepe paper, my paper towels, it drips off wonderfully. Don't worry at all. Let's do it now for all, my dear low carb community. We come to the last step, the layering. Now it's time to put them together again according to the modular principle. I've got the mold, which I spray a little bit with some release spray. You also can butter them or do it with olive oil. I've got two molds, so I do it with both. Inside I put now a small amount of sauce, like on the bottom, because that's quite important, so nothing doesn't stick down there, you see. Now we keep, I put crepe paper in between, and it got soaked, so the whole oil is basically in the paper and not in our eggplants. Then we put the eggplants in here, wild and romantic. Nice, give a little of the tomato sauce on top. That's just, there's covered. Then I've already cut my mozzarella into small pieces. Give a little of the mozzarella on top of this, and some of the really fine grated parmesan. Only a little bit, only a hint. And that's how we do it in no time, layer by layer. You can press a little bit, like with the cake. A bit of tomato sauce. Oh, who needs pasta if he has eggplant lasagna? So, not too much cheese, it's just fat again, although it's now a light mozzarella, but a little might be enough. The eggplant makes the whole thing. It is the star of this story, of this Hollywood. And miraculously, it just fits. Now the last layer, it's on top we add a bit of, only a bit of mozzarella and a hint of parmesan, only a hint, and we cover it again with a little bit with the sauce, because otherwise it will burn. We put it now in the oven at 200 degrees centigrade for about 15 to 20 minutes. At the end, put the top heat a little bit up, so we get some little brown, almost burnt spots like a pizza, just like in Italy. Roasted aromas, I say only. I promise you, my sugar sweeties, will make a white sauce going with it. So I have the butter, that's like 60 gram. Just melt it, don't burn it. The exact amounts I will link you below, of course. I've already dissolved it here, and now I put the flour here, but you also can use these potato fibers, and now I put the almond milk to it, and as I told you, only one, or almost really 0 carbohydrates, and only 14 kilocalories per 100 gram. You also can make a delicious coffee with it, but make sure it's without sugar. We'll be making iced coffee soon, and I'll show you in another video 0 drinks and ice cream. Now we put our flour inside the fat and made a roux. That's the starter for our white bechamel sauce. Then which we let boil until dextrine is formed. You can see it when it's forming and becomes a little bit whitish, and then we don't have any flour taste. And afterwards we spice this a little bit. A good amount of mace. That's the main star of some salt, and in this case really finely grounded white pepper. You shouldn't see it afterwards inside the sauce. You see, it starts to foam. It's wonderful. I go a little bit higher with the temperature, but it should not attach or get brown. Then you have to steer if you go higher with the temperature. It looks lovely. And then you can put the almond milk inside. This is about 1 liter. And stir it and let it boil up, and there shouldn't be any lumps. And you will see that the bonding is relatively good in a short time. Unfortunately, I have now no more parmesan, which I used up for the whole eggplant lasagna, but I still have a few cheddar cubes that we put in. Parmesan or cheddar, it's up to you what cheese you have. And if the bechamel is looking and bubbling like that, then it's ready and you can fill it in small jars. It lasts a long time if you put a vacuum in it. I now fill it into small jars. Then I always have a little bit ready. Look at the eggplants. This is what it looks in the oven. Oh, it's bubbling. Oh, the melanzane is delicious in the oven. Soon ready. My babies, the parmesan is in the oven and it's almost ready. I admit I got it ready yesterday because my bosom friend only had time today, and I left it in the fridge and put it in my oven with full throttle. Then it's almost even better than on the first day. You remember how Giuseppe had served us this already as a child, the Mellanzane al parmaggiano. Oh, and his wife said always that she cooked it while it was him. I choose anything feminist, but the man can cook better. I've never seen you cook here before, but you can slurp yourself here, Slim. You can do that. There she is. It smells so deliciously. El melanzane, el eggplant. I cut some little pieces out for us. And as you don't know yet, but I made a bechamel with it, a white cream sauce, this time for the first time on an almond milk base, without sugar, but I put a bit of flour in it because I didn't want to use any starch to bind it, so all the carbohydrates only come from the 30-gram flour that I add at a liter, so almost low carb. Ooh, it could be hot. But if you can touch hot, you can make hot love. You didn't know that saying yet. Now we get them out. Oh. There, the bechamel sauce with the beautiful maize inside. And everyone has got his own saucer here. You can put a bit of white sauce on top. This is new with the sauce. I've always added a little sauce, but now it's with the almond milk. Oh, now we eat. Enjoy it right away. Let's go. Bon appetit. Revolutionary. Oh, I have coated the eggplants this time with almond flour, but you also can use the mixture of gluten, lupine and almond flour. That might be better. So we stay so low carb. It's almost a wonder. Fantastic. Like veal. Oh, I always say it's like veal. I'll take another one despite intermittent fasting. I'd eaten for 15 hours nothing, depending on how late I go into bed. I start at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I can eat something again. But intermittent fasting is really good, and I start really low with an egg or some spinach. Only a little portion, low carb at its best. My dears, it's fantastic recipe. So if you haven't tried yet, please try it soon. Your relatives and acquaintances will say you're a gifted cook or chef. In Italy it's not better. No.
Alla bella
Alla bella
Italia.
Italia.
Also,
See you
bis bald
soon
und
and be part of the community down
hier
here.
unten. Danke.
Thank you.
Mua. Bella, bella Italia.
Felicità, das ist die Mellanzane, die ich schon immer mir gewünscht habe. Felicità, ich habe sie erschaffen mit der Aubergine in die Ofen. Felicità, und jetzt ist sie auf die YouTube. Felicità, bella vista, grazie, ciao ciao, buona vista, felicità.